So once you have your strap sitting down, so today we're going to be using strap if you have one nearby. And sitting up nice and tall, let's take a moment to settle. Let's take a big breath in, bringing those shoulders up to our ears and letting them go as you exhale. Do two more like that. Inhale, reaching those shoulders up. And exhale, rolling them back down. And once more, reaching those shoulders up. And relaxing them back. So today I pulled a card for our class. And the card that I pulled was called Rescuing Myself. And this is why we're going to be using the strap today with all that snow and shoveling that we did over the weekend. We're going to do a little back care. So let's start with our fingertips to the floor. We'll just stretch out the top of our torso here. Let's inhale, reaching up. And exhale, floating those hands back down. Listening to your body. Reaching up and exhale, floating them back down. This time, let's reach those arms all the way up to the ceiling, letting your right hand come down, lifting that left arm up a little higher, and then sliding the right arm out. See if you can come over. Nice big side stretch, keeping that left hip nice and heavy on the mat. While you're here, taking a nice full breath in and letting it go. And we'll bring ourselves back up, bringing both hands back up to the ceiling. Let's let the left hand float down to the floor. Reaching that right arm up as if somebody's pulling your fingers up a little higher. And then sliding that left hand out, coming over to your left. Taking a full breath into that side body. And let's come back up to center. Letting your left hand come down to your left knee, or right knee, sorry, so crossing your body. And we'll twist it out, right hand behind, sitting up nice and tall, and then looking over your right shoulder. Maybe a little crack in your back, like I just did. And then bringing both hands back up to the ceiling. And let's come down the other side, right hand down to the left knee, left hand behind, and then looking over your left shoulder. Sitting up nice and tall, breathing here, and then coming back to center. And with your hands on your knees, we're going to take a nice big circle. So as you move around here, inhale as you come forward, exhale as you go back. Just see how that spine is feeling. And then we'll take it in the other direction. Giving yourself a little self-care here. Coming back to center and stillness. Let's drop chin to chest. Taking a moment to let the back of the neck stretch out. Letting the shoulders soften. And let's lift the nose up to the ceiling, putting the front of the neck in a nice stretch. And then taking your right ear to your right shoulder, let's bring the chin back down to the chest, left ear to left shoulder, and creating this beautiful big circle. See how your neck feels after your sleep. And then going in the other direction. And we'll come back to center. So whatever strap you're using today, whether it's a robe belt or a strap or a belt, you're going to lay all the way down onto the mat, having that beside us. We're going to do a little series that will really help to strengthen the lower back, strengthening all parts of your legs. So let's take the strap and place it on our right foot so that it's half of it is on either side. Holding that strap with your right hand, see if you can draw that right knee down towards your chest. Keep your left foot on the mat. And just feeling that beautiful support in your lower back as you draw that right knee down. And then connecting with your breath. As you exhale, we're going to take the right heel up towards the ceiling. See if we can straighten that leg as best you can. Listening to your body. Getting into the hamstrings. Maybe those toes are pulling down towards your nose and heel is pushing up a little higher. So wherever you're at, maybe you're here, that's okay. Maybe you're straight, that's good. Just accepting wherever you're at, feeling your body. So yoga is an opportunity to really experience what is going on in your body any given moment. And it constantly is changing. So just breathing here, allowing the hamstrings to relax. So see if you can soften hamstrings as best you can. From here, let's take our left hand and place it on our left hip, just to hold the left hip down. We're going to slowly open up the right leg over to the right. Finding a spot that feels just right for you, so don't go too far. Making sure the groin is feeling okay. Once you get there, you're going to push your heel out a little bit more and draw those toes towards your right shoulder. Keeping your left hand secure on that hip, just hold those hips parallel. And coming back to your breath. Breathing fully and deeply. And then we'll slowly bring that leg back up to the ceiling. We're going to stretch the left leg out nice and long, taking hold of that strap with your left hand and bringing the right hand down on the floor for support. We're going to take the right leg and draw it over to the left. So making sure that you stay nice and solid on the mat, taking your time as you slowly take the leg down to the left. Your right hip will come off of the floor, keeping those shoulders on the mat and just coming down as far as it feels good. You want to overextend here, might get a crack in your back maybe. Wherever you end up, just pushing that heel out, drawing your toes back. And you might feel this in the outside of that right leg and the IT band. Just breathing here. Breathing into any discomfort. And then we'll slowly take that leg back up to the ceiling. Let's bend the knees, releasing that strap, setting it to the side for a moment. You're going to take the right leg back up to the ceiling without the strap this time. Left foot is planted on the floor. And with your heel pushing up, toes pointing down, we're going to slowly lower this leg down to the count of 20. So just imagine that somebody is guiding it down, taking your time. And as you do this, make sure you're still breathing. This is getting into that deep psoas muscle that keeps us all standing upright after doing any activity, stressful activity like shoveling snow. It's good to strengthen this again. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just letting that right heel touch the mat. And then we'll lift the leg up, lift the heel up just a few inches. Keeping your toes pointing up, heel pushing out. And we're going to take this leg up and down, small movements. So just an inch or so up and down. Keeping your heel just an inch or two off the mat. So very subtle, but you might feel that in the groin and that hip area. So psoas muscle goes from the inner thigh across the hip to the lower back. If you're experiencing any low back issues, this is a good way to strengthen that. And then from here, let's take our leg from side to side, just an inch on either side. So again, very subtle, small movements. And always coming back to your breath, making sure you're still breathing. And then from here, let's take the toes over towards the right. And we're going to lift and lower this leg on an angle. And again, just a few inches up and down. And then we'll take the toes to the left, like you're pigeon-toed, and up and down on an angle. Good. Let's lower that leg down. It'll feel nice to relax it. Let's stretch the left leg out and take a moment just to notice how the right side is feeling compared to the left. My right side feels an inch or so longer. That leg feels nice and energized. The left side feels a little sluggish. So let's see if we can balance ourselves out, bringing those feet back in. We're going to take our strap or our tie and just loop it over the left foot. Drawing that left knee in towards your chest. And just taking a moment to breathe here. Feeling your lower back nicely supported. And then on your next exhale, let's take that heel up towards the ceiling. Stretching out the hamstring. Breathing here. As you exhale, just let go a little bit more. Noticing how this side feels compared to the right. You may find one side is a little more flexible than the other. So just being wherever you're at. Each exhale, just allowing the hamstrings to soften a little bit more. And we'll place the right hand onto the right hip to hold it down. When you're ready, let's open up this left leg over to the left, finding a spot that feels just right for you. Once you get there, pushing your heel out, drawing your toes back. And coming back to your breath. Making sure you can still breathe. If you find you are having challenges breathing, maybe you've gone too far, just bring that leg back up a little bit. And let's slowly take that left leg back up to the ceiling, stretching the right leg out. We'll take hold of the strap with our right hand. Left hand comes down for support. And when you're ready, let's draw this left leg across the body, keeping your shoulders down and just finding that spot that feels just right for this side. Once you're there, maybe pushing your heel out, drawing your toes back. Coming back to your breath. And then we'll take that leg back up to the ceiling. Let's bend both knees, releasing your strap, putting it to the side. We're not going to use it again. And then taking your left foot back up to the ceiling. Getting it nice and long and lean. Heel pushing up. And at the count of 20, let's lower this leg down nice and slow. Keeping that breath flowing. Lowering it down as if somebody's holding onto your foot. Guiding it down. While you do this, maybe drawing navel to spine. This will help to lengthen and strengthen your lower back. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Letting your heel touch the floor. And then lifting your leg up. Let's take it up and down. Small movement. Breathing here. Just an inch or so up and down. And then we'll take that leg from side to side, just an inch on either side. And then taking your foot to the left, we'll come up and down on an angle. Strengthening all parts of that deep muscle. And then taking your toes to the right, and as if you're pigeon toe, going up and down. Good. Let's release and relax that leg, sending your right leg out, making sure both sides feel even. You're going to reach the arms all the way up and overhead. Taking a nice big good morning stretch from your fingers to your toes. And then drawing one knee in and the other, bringing your arms around those knees. Let's rock from side to side. Maybe bringing your hands underneath your knees, and let's see if we can rock forward and back. So bring your feet up towards the ceiling and rocking forward and back, giving your spine a massage. And then eventually coming all the way back up to sitting. We'll swing those legs back around and come into table. So coming into table, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, fingers wide. And let's move our spine. So as you exhale, let's round the back up to the ceiling. As you inhale, sinking your belly down, lifting your tailbone, your head. Just moving back and forth from a nice round cat to a sway back cat. And let's come back to center. We're going to stretch the right leg out, pointing our toes, coming into balance. See if you can take your opposite hand, stretching it out, finding a spot to gaze at. And coming back to your breath. And then we'll bring our hand and our knee back down. Let's send the left toes out, stretching that leg parallel to the mat. And then take your right arm out. Breathe in here. Good. Let's bring your hand and your knee back down. We're going to curl the toes under, coming into a downward facing dog. So making sure your fingers are nice and wide, getting a good foundation in your hands. We're going to send those hips up towards the ceiling and maybe walking one heel out in time. Getting your head in between the arms, letting it hang down. Hips rising up a little higher towards the ceiling, and then see if you can send those heels down, just letting them get heavy. And coming back to your breath, breathing here. And let's take a leisurely stroll up to the top of the mat. Once you get there, just hanging out over the hips. You can bend your knees slightly if the back is still feeling a little tender. If it's feeling fine, you can straighten your legs. Maybe bringing your hands to your shins, head reaching forward, taking a breath, and exhale, fold. Inhale, again, halfway up. And exhale, fold. Let's do one more, halfway up. Breathing in and fold. Now to protect your lower back as we rise up, let's imagine we're squeezing a block in between our thighs. So that will help to protect your lower back, and we'll sweep the arms all the way up, nice and big and wide, scooping up this day. And bringing those hands home to the heart. Taking a moment, letting everything settle. Closing your eyes. See if you can imagine stacking knees up over the ankles, hips over the knees, shoulders over those hips, and ears over the shoulders. Standing tall in Tadasana, mount pose. And with your hands at your heart space, just feeling your heart beating. Breathing fully and deeply. And on your next inhale, let's sweep the arms all the way up to the ceiling. We're going to take hold of the left wrist and coming over to our right. Stretching out that left side body. And then back to center. And let's take hold of the right wrist, coming over to our left. Breathing here. And back to center. Letting those arms float down towards the back of your body. See if you can grab hold of your fists, drawing them back down towards the floor, squeezing your shoulders together, breathing into the belly, and then releasing. Shaking those arms out, shaking your legs out. Let's inhale, reach all the way up, palms together. And exhale, folding over the hips. Let's take the right leg and send it back, sinking into a high lunge. So wiggling that right foot back, letting the hips settle down towards the floor. Hands are on either side of your left foot. Planting your right hand, let's reach the left arm up to the ceiling. Breathing here, a little twist. And then bringing left hand to our left knee. Let's see if we can bring right hand up to meet it. Maybe sinking in a little bit deeper. And maybe this is as far as you want to go today, and that's quite all right. Or you might want to challenge yourself, maybe taking your right arm up to the ceiling and the left, finding that balance. Breathing here. And then we'll float the hands back down to the floor. Let's rock that back foot forward. Folding back over our hips. Squeezing those thighs. Let's sweep the arms all the way back up to the ceiling. And landing back to the heart. Letting everything settle. A few breaths here, maybe feeling your heart beating a little quicker. That doesn't take much. And let's do the other side. Inhale, reaching up. Palms together and exhale, holding over those hips. From here, let's take the left leg back. Sinking into our high lunge, hips coming down. Maybe getting that right knee in your armpit if you can. We'll plant the left hand and reach the right arm up to the ceiling. Twisting it out on this side. And then bringing your right hand to your knee. Let's see about bringing that left hand up. Sinking in helps to keep your balance. And maybe this is as far as you want to go, and that's okay. Or maybe you want to challenge yourself, bringing left arm up and right. Finding your balance. Finding that strength in your legs and back. And then floating hands back down to the mat. We're going to take the right foot back to meet the left, and let's come into a plank pose. So wrists are underneath the shoulders, heels are pushing back, fingers nice and wide. Once you get here, just breathing, maybe drawing navel up towards the spine. And then we'll bring knees down to the mat, and let's sink back into child's pose, hips settling down to the heels, resting your head down towards the floor. If it doesn't quite reach, you can always stack your fists. Once you get here, just breathing and relaxing into it. And from here, let's come back onto our hands and knees, curling the toes and bringing ourselves back into our downward facing dog. Heels getting heavy. And we'll take that walk back up to the top of the mat. Folding maybe a little bit deeper over those hips. And sweeping those arms up big and wide, all the way up to the ceiling and home to the heart. Letting your shoulders soften and relax. And just feeling your heart beating. From here, let's take our feet nice and wide. Having your feet parallel to each other. And we're going to do a little series that's good to do if you're short on time and you just want to get a little bit of yoga in. So sending your arms out into a 5-pointed star. Breathing here. Feeling your feet nice and solid. And then we'll take the hands behind us. Drawing those fists down towards the floor. So expanding your chest. And from here, let's hinge over the hips. See if you can lift those fists off of your back, letting your head come down towards the mat. And then releasing your hands back to the floor. If your hands don't quite reach the floor, you can always use a book or a block here. Getting a nice stretch, letting your head shake yes and no. And with your right hand in the middle of the mat, left hand on top, we're going to reach the left arm up to the ceiling. Breathing here. And then bringing your hand back down. Let's switch sides, taking your right arm up to the ceiling. And bringing it back down. And just moving back and forth with your own rhythm. Moving with your breath. And then we'll bring both hands back down to the floor. We'll walk our hands over to our right ankle, bringing your nose towards your knee. And breathing here. And then back to center and over to the left ankle, bringing your nose towards your knee. And back to center. Let's wiggle those feet in just enough so that you can sink the heels down. Coming into a little squat. Really good for the lower back. If you can get your heels down, fantastic. If you can't, keep your hands on the floor and just wiggle back and forth. Eventually, those heels will come down. If your heels are down, you might want to bring your hands to your heart space. And just taking a few moments to breathe. Nice full deep breaths help to massage the internal organs, keep working for you. And then we'll ease our way down onto the mat. Stretching those legs out in front. Give them a little wiggle. Sitting up tall, taking shoulders up to the ears. And rolling them down your back. And just noticing how you're feeling. Your back is still a little tender. You can bend those knees. Closing your eyes. Just let the legs soften. Letting those muscles relax. So we'll bring the right foot in to the inside of that left leg. Left toes pointing up. If you want to, you can use your strap again for this. Place the strap around the left foot and just easing your way forward. Keep your chest moving forward, not rounding your back. So you might not come down too far. Just come to where it's comfortable. Once you get there, just breathing. And then slowly coming back up. Let's take that right leg out and bring the left leg in. Do this on the other side, sitting up tall, strap around your foot, and easing your way down. Wrap the strap around your hands. Chest is moving forward, not rounding. Breathing here, doing a nice deep hamstring stretch. Good. Let's come back up. Take that strap out of the way. And And let's bring those knees in. We'll wrap our arms around and maybe bringing your nose down towards your knees. Beautiful, nurturing pose here. If you ever need some comfort, great position to come into. Kids do it naturally all the time. It's okay for adults to do too. Let's come all the way down onto the mat. Bringing your knees into your chest and just rocking side to side. And then we'll place the feet onto the floor. We'll take our arms out into a T shape and we'll come into a spinal twist. So taking your hips over to the left and letting your knees float down to the right. Keeping your shoulders resting on the floor, making any adjustments. And your nose can face up towards the ceiling, or you can go over to your left hand. Full deep breaths here. Just letting go. And then we'll bring our head and our knees back to center. Lifting your hips and flattening out your back. And then sliding those hips over to the right. Letting your knees float down to the left. Moving into our twist on this side. That can be up towards the ceiling or over to the right hand. Just taking full, deep, releasing breaths. Letting go. Letting the back unlock. Then we'll come back to center. Let's lift the hips, squaring off the hips, bringing a hand on each knee, and we'll take our knees into circles, one way or different ways. Just moving those legs in any way that feels good for your back. And then we'll bring our feet back to the floor. If your back is tender, you can keep your feet flat, knees bent, and just let your knees relax in on each other, placing your hands on your lower abdomen. If your back feels okay, you can stretch your legs out nice and long. We'll come into our final pose. Just taking a few moments to close your eyes. Scanning your body. Checking in to see how things are feeling. Feeling all that wonderful energy flowing through you. Letting all parts of you soften and relax. Further to our card about rescuing myself, it says, today I will not wait for someone to come to my aid. I am not helpless. Although help may come, I am my own rescuer. My relationships will dramatically improve when I stop rescuing others and stop expecting others to rescue me. Rescuing myself is our theme today. And when you're ready, reach your way back up into a comfortable seated position. Bring our hands together at our heart space. Do a collective breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, breathing in and out. Well, may you go forth today and continue to rescue yourself. Namaste.